Welcome to Mod Jumble, where Dix plays the mods your shitty computer can handle.
So today I am coming at you guys with something a little bit different from the normal games that I upload on this channel, but I figured, what the hell, I've been playing this game for so long the past week, like it's just, I've been addicted to it. And it's the same genre as Sins of Solar Empire, and it's, you know, space, all that type of shit. It's fun. If you haven't heard of it yet, and you haven't like seen anything for it, check it out. It's called Stellaris. But I'm not gonna get into the game. We're gonna get into this mod that I found. I found it a couple days ago, and I didn't think it was gonna be what I thought it was. And oh, it is amazing. Considering that the game hasn't even been out that long, and there's already a mod like this, it's just awesome. So the Halo mod for Stellaris. Now it's not, you know, it's only been out for a while. The game is still basically brand new, and you got to expect some bugs, you know, stuff like that. It's not going to be 100% perfect yet, but it's still amazing the fact that there's even something like this early. Let's get into it. Basically, it adds a Halo faction to it, or a UNSC faction. Halo faction adds the UNSC faction into it. It goes very similar to what they are, what the UNSC is, like the government ethics, all that type of stuff. The main thing, though, is the ships. It adds the Infinity, and you can still customize all the ships individually. You just go in and you choose the cruisers, and then, or whatever cruiser or frigate, or if you want the Infinity, and then you can still customize it, put on your weapons. Unfortunately, there are no actual Halo weapons, so there aren't any like MAC cannons or anything that you can put on it yet. It's still, what I've come to do is I like to make it seem as Halo as possible, so I've taken to using the either the Marauder missiles, the torpedoes, and the Gauss cannons, and the Stormfire auto cannons. I don't really use any of the lasers or anything like that, because I want it to be like as Halo as possible, and that's just as close as it gets. The Gauss cannons are kind of similar to the MAC cannons, so it's just as close as it gets to it. But hopefully in the future they will add something like that. But the main problem with it is it doesn't use up any of your naval capacity. So when you build a ship, it's kind of evened out. It costs a lot to build them. Like, you don't have to like research them or anything like that. You can just build them from right off the bat, but you do have to have a certain level spaceport for each one. So right from the get-go, I think you can build the frigates at level 3 or right from level 1. I think it's level 3 though. The cruisers are level 4, and the Infinity I think is level 6 or level 5. I can't remember. It's kind of evened out with that, and the fact that it doesn't use your naval capacity, it's kind of like, okay, I can just build infinite amounts of these, and there's there's no downside to it other than the upkeep. The upkeep is absurd for the Infinity. It's like, if you max out the Infinity with like everything that you want, like shields, power, all that stuff, it gets up into the like just 25 power and 25 minerals. That's how much it costs just to run it, and you can build as many Infinities as you want. But if you want to stick to the lore or whatever, I think there's only one Infinity in Halo, so I don't think they build any more of them, just one of them. So moving on to the ships that they have, we'll start off with the cruisers. You've got the Phoenix class carrier. It's kind of similar. It's very similar. It's basically this exact same one as the ship from Halo Wars. If you have played that or haven't played that, it's basically the ship from Halo Wars. They've got the Autumn. They have 2 Autumn class ships. They're virtually the same. They are the same. They're not virtually the same. I just pulled it up and looked at it. They are the same. They look the same, and they have the same weapon slots and utility slots. I don't know what the difference is. One of them's called Autumn class heavy cruiser, and the other one's just called Autumn. That's just what it is, but they both look the same, and they both have the same weapon and utility slots. So there might be a change in that. I don't know. But moving on to the frigates, you have the Stalwart class light frigate, you have the Sharon class light frigate, UNSC Paris class heavy frigate, the Strident class heavy frigate, the Savannah frigate, and I've never heard of this one. It's called the UNSC Forward. So those are all the ones that you have, and then obviously you have the Infinity. And when you get into the later game, like I said, the upkeep for the ships gets absurd. So it kind of evens out with the naval capacity. Like I have right now, I think in the save that I'll be showing, like the game save that I'll be showing as the gameplay in the background. I think I have like 40 ships out right now, and it says I only have about 16 naval capacity up out of 98, and I have like 40 ships out, and like 5 or 6 of those are Infinity class ships. You would imagine those will probably take up like 10 or 12 naval capacity alone, and then just a bunch of frigates and a bunch of cruisers. And I only have 16 naval capacity out of 98, so that's a huge problem, but the upkeep is absurd. I have like 350 upkeep in ships, and I'm only generating like, I think 700 or something like that, and then including all the stations and everything else. Whenever I go to war, basically whenever my ships aren't docked, I'm losing like negative 100 and like something credit, or not credits, but energy per second. So it's kind of evened out, but it's also kind of like, I would just prefer the naval capacity to work, but it is a really early mod, so it's still awesome that something like this even exists. And like I said, they did add a UNSC faction. It'd be cool to see a Covenant faction and maybe some Covenant ships in here, and just have like have some type of game type scenario where it's just like a 1v1 in the galaxy. And I don't know, maybe it starts you out with all the territory that you have before the first war, like before the Covenant started to attack. You have all the territory and everything like that, like a little scenario game. See if you can like win the scenario, like, you know, change the way that the entire Halo like world played out, rather than having them just completely decimate you and the only thing that's left standing is Earth. That'd be a nice little scenario to play, but who knows? Like I said, the mod is still brand new, just like the game, so we'll see what happens. There's a lot of issues with the mods for Stellaris. Like they'll say that it's that the game's constantly being updated because it's new, so it's just changing versions like almost every day, and it'll say that the mod is out of date and it doesn't work with the current version, but 90% of the time it does work. So if you're having a problem with that, don't worry about it. But one thing that I did notice is when you put a lot of mods on with this one, some of them do conflict with each other, and they'll like change around like some of the stuff, like the names for stuff. Like I can't even see my military power for my fleets without having to look out on the outliner. Like the military power, it just says military power, it doesn't say the number, so that's a little problem, but it's nothing that uninstalling some mods and figuring out which mod is conflicting with it and stuff like that. But that's basically the mod. It's very nice. The ship textures, they're kind of a little, you know, they're not amazing. It's not like, you're not gonna look at them and be like, oh my god, that is fucking legit, that is awesome. You know, it's not gonna be like that, but it's still nice to have the Halo ships in Stellaris. I really love the design of the Halo ships and the way that they look. Like that's just my favorite ship. They're my favorite ship designs out of all of like the sci-fi genre, space genre of stuff. Down the links in the description, I'm going to put a download link to the ModDB page. That's where it was found. And then I'm going to put the Steam link so you can install through Steam on Stellaris. And then, you know, if you want to keep looking at it, check back on it. Maybe it'll be updated in the future and some new stuff will come out. Like I said, it is new though, just like the game, so it's still pretty amazing that something like this exists. And there's also a Stargate one that's in the works too. I saw 2 Stargate ones that are in the works. There's a Mass Effect one in the works, and there's also a Star Trek one in the works. But the fact that this one is like out and the ships are there and the UNSC faction is there, and it's just awesome that that's out so soon. So who knows what is going to be coming out in the future, but then the link's in the description, and I will see you guys in the next one.
That's it for Mod Jumble. Hit the subscribe button unless you magically got a better computer while watching this video. No? Didn't think so. See you next time.